Hello pirates, welcome to another how to build video. This time we're going to talk about Subjugators. They're a conqueror hull, good for hitting other players' bases. It's good for you to do bounty as well, as you can even use them in base defense. It's a very simple hull. It has 6 weapon slots and all of them can only use UAVs, no other type of weapons. You can build it in the regular shipyard and then you won't have to spend titanium, or you can build it in the conquest yard. It's the same time, but now you need 200,000 titanium. It's a tough hull, very hard to kill. It has almost twice as much armor as the Howler, for instance. And because of the high deflections and the high armor within the same repair time, it's actually a lot cheaper to use than Howlers, to hit a series of bases or to do a lot of bounty targets without having to spend any money or a lot of money. The Subjugator also makes a good team with the Basilisks, as it has an aura that will make the Basilisks stronger. For weapon, as I said, the only possible choice is the Affliction UAV. It was designed to go with the Subjugators. You cannot use countermeasures or any other type of weapons with this ship. The Affliction UAV has 80% flak evasion, so it's very hard to kill with countermeasures, and it has led to some people doubting whether or not their sprints and other countermeasures were even working. And they may be, but because they have an accuracy of 60-70% and then this hull has 80% evasion, the reality is that very few UAVs will be countered. Other than the damage, the Affliction has special abilities. The more it hits an enemy, the less accuracy that enemy has. So you can see here, each hit it's a minus 5% accuracy, up to minus 100%, meaning the enemy simply won't hit you anymore. Every single shot's gonna miss. There's a spread debuff. For every hit, the spread stat of a rocket or mortar weapon being fired by your enemy, turret or ship, will spread 20% more to a point where it's gonna hit so far from you, up to 400% more spread, that it pretty much won't do any damage. And those debuffs, they stay stacked for 60 seconds. And it doesn't matter if your ship has tactical field resistance, because this is not a tactical field. This is a direct stack on enemy turrets and ships. And the only way to counter stacks is by being unreactive, which I don't believe the current defenders are. So this is a great way and another way of making the Subjugator last longer. Kixeye has often made those temporary offers, the TLOs, pop up with Subjugators. Just these days I took a screenshot and they were offering a pre-built, pre-ranked Subjugator for $15 American dollars. And this was the build. When I started playing Battle Pirates again back in November, I had no current conqueror, so I actually bought a couple of these. This was the build and was actually good to help me do bounty. So I was able to do my first bounty in December, except they were low damage, so often I would time out on the bounty bases, which is not a problem because bounty bases don't bubble. So you can keep going back on and on until you kill them. And while timing out, the Subjugators would not take a lot of damage. Armours. Did not armor mine just as the ones in the offer. Actually, like I said, I got the offer. I made some changes. I had more penetrative deflection by using the penetrative plate 8 to help against Gorgons. Radioactive plate and XR3 both compounded, giving me more radioactive deflection against the Tempest launchers, which are still one of the weakest points of the Subjugator. CTCO3 for corrosive and concussive. And then ballistic, if you're gonna hit bases that have breachers in the guard, you definitely want to have that plate. Keep in mind that no mix of armors will be good against all bases. There's always going to be a weak spot. Like this setup will take a beating from scatterguns or from lurkers, for instance. Looking at what Kixeye was selling in the TLO, I kept 3 specials. I kept the Conquest Battery for turret defense and building damage. I kept the UAV upgrade for 1 extra chaining. And the UAV targeting circuitry that gives damage, chaining and chaining range, which all help. And the projectile speed makes them move faster, meaning less time for countermeasures to fire at them. Okay, with that set up, you actually have a chain count of 4, meaning the UAVs will go to the first target in range, do damage, go to a second, a third, and a fourth, and do the same damage to all 4. As long as they are within the chaining range of 100, which is a very big range, so to end up always hitting 4 things. Second set of special. So the offer came with Speed System 6, which is how I used it first, until I got a few of that limited Onslaught engine. The offer also came with Agility System 4, and after I got the ECM dampener, I refitted along with the engine, made the ships a little bit faster because the Subjugators are very slow, and that gave them more speed. I also replaced one UAV upgrade with Siege Targeting 4 to have more building damage because they were lacking in that department. Some final thoughts. It's a long build. After you build, it's very important to upgrade because that increases the UAV damage by 70%. So if you compare, I had them doing 324 damage total. After upgrading, that went up to 437,000. A big gain by upgrading. They also get a new aura when you upgrade, and you can see the aura here. It's a Bloodthirst kind of aura that stacks 20 times. When you get full stack, meaning when you kill 20 things, you're gonna have 5% more speed per ship because it's a up to 5 auras. You're gonna get some field resistance, some splash damage reduction, and more resistance to slow and stun as well. This is a cheap hull to use. I prefer using this one versus the Howler just because you need a lot of money to keep using the Howler and repairing the Howler after most hits. And I did my bounty in December with 2 of them without upgrades, you know, and I was able to score decent points by just grinding a bunch of average and below average opponent bases. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in building Howlers, you can see the video right here. If you want to work on your base guard, here's a video on the High Guard Warden as well. And I hope you have fun. Remember to subscribe and hit the buzzer so you can get notified when I release new videos. See you next time, pirates. Have a good bounty.